Welcome. Today I'll be summarizing and sharing my thoughts on the October 4th readings for Courage to Change and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I'll begin with a little time for myself. October 4th. I am now going to read it to myself. Today's reading is about leadership, and it references concept 9, which is good personal leadership at all service levels is a necessity. In the field of world service, the Board of Trustees assumes the primary leadership. It also references the Al-Anon Service Manual. Says that good leadership includes planning and setting policy in consultation with others, discerning popular opinion from Al-Anon principles, compromising and having a vision for the future. And the question of the day is, what positive leadership qualities could I develop in Al-Anon service? And the first thing that comes to my mind is the very first service role that I had, which was to call people to remind them that they signed up to chair a meeting. Excuse me, my nose is itchy, but I'm fine. I don't feel sick. It's just that my nose is itchy. So at the time, my home meeting was an in-person meeting, and we used to send around those little pocket calendars with a pen attached to it. And if people wanted to sign up to chair a meeting, they would put their first name and their phone number in the book. And at the end of the meeting, I would take the book home with me, and a couple of days before the meeting, I would call that person, and if they answered the phone, I would talk with them, and if they didn't answer the phone, I would leave a message reminding them that they chaired the meeting, that they offered to chair the meeting. And if they no longer wanted to chair, then they could let me know. Or I don't remember exactly what I said, but at first I was so nervous to do that because it just took me out of my comfort zone. But the more I did it, the more I realized it wasn't that big a deal. And when I handed over that role to someone else and took on another service position, which I felt had even more visibility, which is not what I wanted. At that time, it was alternate group rep. And then after that, I was the treasurer. I was the treasurer for a few years, I think like 4 years, which is kind of crazy because I don't think anyone's supposed to have a service position for that long, but I think it went into COVID and that was part of it. And in any case, I really enjoyed all my service positions. So, what positive leadership qualities could I develop in Al-Anon service? I would say, for me personally, a level of self-confidence, because at first I didn't think I could do it. And then when I realized I could do it, I felt much better, realizing that it wasn't a big deal and I wasn't going to mess it up and it was fine. Planning and setting policy in consultation with others. So not being bossy, not making decisions on my own, but taking input from all people, all parties involved. Discerning popular opinion from Al-Anon principles. Compromising and having a vision for the future. Those are all very good things, and I do think that those are all skills that I am developing the more I'm involved in Al-Anon, the more I see it practiced. During meetings and during business meetings especially. So that's really helpful. What positive leadership qualities could you develop in Al-Anon service? I'm going to try not to blow my nose during this video because I still haven't learned how to pause it yet. Yeah, I don't see any way to pause it. Okay. Courage to change. October 4th. Here's something that you may not want to know, but is 100% true. It's kind of funny. I think it's funny. That's why I'm sharing it. In the middle of the night last night, my right nostril, which is what's acting up right now, just started to flow like a faucet, and it woke me up, and I was so tired that I took a tissue, ripped off a corner, and kind of just gently lodged it in my nostril and went back to sleep. And when I woke up this morning, I was like, what is that? And I looked at my partner and had tissue hanging out of my nose. It's funny. All right, I'm going to read October 4th now, Courage to Change. This reading to me is about fellowship, not being alone, focusing on similarities rather than differences. We're all unique as our fingerprints. But our hearts beat the same under the skin. Al-Anon is an amazing fellowship where I repeatedly witness so much authenticity. People talking about really the most important, pressing things going on in their lives. In my specific experience, it really was a matter of life and death, because it made me feel so desperate and so hopeless that that it truly was a life and death situation for me. And of course, it's always a life and death situation for the person who's abusing substances. Nonetheless, Al-Anon is such a gentle, loving program, accepting. And it talks about how we have collective strength. When we focus on our similarities rather than our differences, we have strength. And that is so beautiful and so true. And I'm so glad to be part of it. So we'll close out with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you so much love. Take care.